let's get to the Pentagon so that you and I can go off on this one. This has been driving me crazy. And Ryan, you and I both have experience.
Yeah, it's good to be joined by an actual former Pentagon correspondent here.
Thank you. A former Pentagon correspondent. One of my proudest moments, my first actual reporting job. So here's what's currently happening. Pete Hegseth and his personal lawyer, who he has hired now at the Pentagon.
Who is sometimes suing the Pentagon. Like, do people understand that?
Yeah.
Pete Hegseth's personal lawyer is suing the Pentagon,
but works
also working
at the Pentagon. Okay. So that guy, the guy who defended him in rape accusations and other whatever, who knows what happened. That guy and Pete Hegseth have concocted new press requirements at the Pentagon, where any correspondent who works at the Pentagon has to be forced to sign a 21-page document. That 21-page document, let's put this up here on the screen, requires a couple of things. It's more complicated, but this is distilled from the Pentagon. Quote, number one, the press no longer roams free. Number two, the press must wear a visible badge. Number three, credentialed press no longer are permitted to solicit criminal acts. Let's go through these claims one by one, because this makes sense if you're an idiot and you've never been inside of the Pentagon. All right. Number one, as I literally used to cover the Pentagon, you do not roam free in the Pentagon. Okay.
Believe it or not.
It is one of the most secure buildings in the world. I used to cover the White House. The White House is 10 times less secure. I could quite literally walk into the big parts of the West Wing as a reporter without ever being accosted or asked.
You just open the door.
Exactly. Literally open the door. I could walk right up into the upper press area of the West Wing and be 20 feet away from the Oval Office without being asked or looked at askance by Secret Service. Yeah. And so that's the first one, roam free. Yeah. By roam free, what he means is that you enter the building, you go through, again, more security at the Pentagon than you do to even enter the White House. You walk past a food court, a CVS. It's like a mini building down there. It's like a city. There's like a T-Mobile store. There's a huge food court. They have like a bunch of gift shops and stuff because people spend so much time there. There's all this stuff to do, for all the staff. And then you walk down a hallway and you go to the press area. Every single door is locked and is key controlled. You cannot go into any classified area. I spent a lot of time there. I never once was able to go into a classified area. The theory that he said is like, oh, well, some general could be walking down the hallway and get accosted by a journalist. Didn't see it happen once. Not once. Once did I see it happen.
Also, the general can just keep walking.
Nobody asked him to answer. Okay. Yes. Number two, a press must wear visible badge. Okay. Can we put D5 up here on the screen? I dug up this old photo of mine of my old badge. Okay. There it is. That badge, yes, I know. Forgive the dress shirt. It was before I knew some of the rules.
I think it works.
No. Forgive me. Whatever. That's my old badge, which I had to wear around my neck with one of my little lanyards everywhere that I went. That I went. You can see very clearly the badge in front of you. The Pentagon press branded badge. Everybody, by the way, knew who the press was because
little CCP star there.
Yeah, the little star in the middle of the Pentagon thing. But here's the point: we already had to wear a badge. That is a badge from 9 years ago, because you could see it expired in August of 2017. So I must have gotten it sometime in August of 2016. So that's what the badge looked like whenever we were rolling around in the Pentagon. Keep in mind, this is under Barack Obama, and eventually I used that badge under the new president, Donald Trump. All right. So that was the Pentagon policy that was in place underneath. Now, the third thing that he claims, and this is where you and I can really go off, is, quote, credentialed press are no longer permitted to solicit criminal acts. What he means by that is that by signing this document, you have to commit, you will not solicit or publish classified information. And in fact, they go even further. It doesn't just apply to classified information, because he's making it seem that it does. It also applies to unclassified information. So effectively what Pete Hegseth is saying is you cannot enter and cover this building if you do not print exactly what we tell you to do. Yeah. That is literally what he is saying. Now, let's explain, because I actually got attacked for this. I said, encouraging people to leak is part of the job. People took that as encouraging people to leak classified information? First of all, yes, that is part of the job.
Come on.
And if you have it, send it over. We'd love to see it.
You like Seymour Hersh, or do you?
Yeah,
not
do you like
Seymour Hersh?
real information or not? But second, encouraging people to leak also falls in the category of the Pentagon makes an announcement. You and I hit up people, or sometimes they hit us up, and I go, what's really going on here? They go, yeah, man, it's bullshit. You know, this, and this. And you go, oh, okay. Can I cite that on background? That is not classified at all. Usually it's about clarification, some background information, some behind the scenes. He doesn't even want that to be reported because that would report on the chaos that's in the building for Mr. Hegseth. And what galls me about this are the lies. The lie that the press just roams free all over the building. Bullshit. Literally doesn't happen. I'm telling you it doesn't happen.
Insane.
I used to cover it. Number two, we didn't wear a badge. I just showed it to you. Had to wear it around my neck every place that we went. Couldn't even enter the building without it, literally. Number three, solicit information. What he would even, and I did this all the time. So here's it. I know I'm in the weeds and I apologize, but the lack of transparency around this is what causes people to take this type of bullshit seriously. So what will happen is, let's take this Venezuela thing. In the old days when I would cover it, especially ISIS, they would call us in and they would say, we just hit a boat, you know, or we just hit an oil refinery by ISIS. We'd say, okay. And they provide an on the record statement, which is the official version. Then they would go on background where we could not cite them directly. And we would say, okay, so what happened here? And they're like, well, here's how we got the information, and we got this and that. And then we would ask follow-up questions. And then sometimes what you do is, if you're a good Pentagon correspondent, you've got sources in Iraq or something like that. And you call them and you're like, hey man, like here's what the Pentagon is saying. And they're like, oh, that's total bullshit. Actually, we did this. And so then what you do, by the way, that would be considered a criminal act, or
soliciting a criminal act.
And then what you do is you go back to them and you go, hey man, I just spoke to people familiar with the strike. They're saying what you're saying is wrong.
They said it was a wedding party.
Yeah, they said, right, exactly, it was a wedding party. Or they said it was 50 killed as opposed to 500, right? And this happens all the time. This is the standard part of the job. And they go, yeah, you know, yeah, you got me, right? and that most of the time is what it was. Or they would scream at you, which I also got quite a bit when I was down there. That's the job of, quote, soliciting information. They don't even want that. And so they've created this whole brouhaha where they're trying to convince people that it's like a criminal act to solicit clarification. This is a $1 trillion budget. And the worst part is, Ryan, is even covering it, it's very hard to not be a stenographer because they so limit your access that they make it nearly impossible to print anything which doesn't come from official channel. Unless you're really good at your job, really, really, really good, almost everything is gonna come through some official channel, which I would argue works to their benefit, because the truth is, most of the people who cover the Pentagon are the most neocon people in the world. I mean, think about Barbara Starr. Glenn Greenwald used to joke that she was the Pentagon's reporter at CNN, not the CNN's reporter at the Pentagon. You know, or what's that woman's name? Jennifer from Fox News, who's like always just repeating the pro-war with Iran line. They love having those people in the building because they repeat their talking points, they get sources, right? It's not like they're even all that antagonistic, not nearly enough for my purposes. So yeah, I mean, all of it settles, Ryan, on this idea that soliciting classified information is a crime. First, no, it's not. It's actually not. But and if somebody leaks you classified information, that's on them. But even more so, this is really bad because this is the first time since 1943 that there will not be a preponderance of journalists inside of that building who are reporting on the Pentagon because they refuse to sign their ridiculous agreement.
Is it still only One America at this point?
It's only One America News.
Yeah.
Is
and
the
so
only
the Washington Examiner said no.
My former employer, the Daily Caller, they
Daily
said no.
Caller said no. Washington Times.
Fox News
said no. Fox News.
Pete Hegseth's former employer, Fox News.
So, and your proximate point that this is about covering up the chaos that is like bubbling underneath Pete Hegseth's leadership is key, because that's why specifically they're doing it here. On the classified documents and classified information, I even take a more expansive view on that. I was interviewing Daniel Ellsberg about this once, and he made the point. He's like, it's not settled law that it's a criminal act to leak classified information. It's like the First Amendment does not have a carve out for government employees. Now, you can fire a government employee, you can sanction them, you can tell them they can never work for the government again. But his argument is, if you are a government employee and you see the government committing a criminal act, your First Amendment right is to speak about that and is to share information about that. Now, you could imagine carve-outs where you say, well, and he said treason is different. If you sell government information,
that's a whole other
to a foreign country, that's not a First Amendment protected activity. If it's not newsworthy, it's not criminal, and you're just leaking like nuclear codes or whatever, like he would say, like that does not have First Amendment protections. But newsworthy information that the public has a right to know is not even a criminal act. So even if you don't believe in that expansive of an interpretation, the idea that it's a criminal act for a journalist to call a source and say, what do you know about this airstrike, where the Pentagon claims they killed 75 insurgents?
And I did this every day when I covered the building. And that's the other funny thing. These people, they hate even being questioned their official bullshit narrative.
Right.
I literally got screaming. He called me a shit-stirring fuckface. This was a full bird colonel, which at the time I was like 24. I was scared, right? I'm talking about a frankly fat, overweight, full bird colonel with, he's got the, what is it called? The oak leaf clusters and that. And he's like 58 and he's dressing me down because I was like, hey, I have a source telling me that what you said is incorrect. And they try to intimidate you like thugs. Like that's what they do.
Like Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, it's like it's a rite of passage actually to journalists as learning how to deal with getting screamed at. When I talk to journalism classes, I tell that story because I go, one day you're going to be in that position, and they try to exploit your position in your youth, and you have to internally. It's weird getting yelled at, but exactly. The reason they get mad is because they lied to you. That's the whole job. The job is saying, no, you're a liar, actually, this entire time. And Ryan, you've published classified information. We published the Discord leaks over here. The argument from Hegseth and all those people, even though all the Republicans were celebrating those Discord leaks that we published showing that the Biden administration was lying about the war in Ukraine and the level of Pentagon involvement, now they're like, oh, you're threatening national security, like you should be prosecuted. That's the argument that Obama actually wanted to make about journalists and Snowden. They wanted people like Glenn to go to jail for even reporting on that. And that's part of the thing that they threw Chelsea Manning into prison for, I guess, after eventually pardoning her or whatever. But the point is that extraordinary view is now the one at the Pentagon. It's so crazy because they have banned basically all journalists from the building if they don't agree to sign saying that they will basically not clear all the future stories with them and not even ask for clarification on their official readouts. Yeah,
and it's hopeful that all these organizations are pushing back. They're siding with the Fourth Estate. They're siding with the First Amendment over their kind of ideological affinity. You put up the third element here. Go check out Saagar's Twitter feed. He's lighting these people up.
So we'll put this guy on blast, Joel Valdez. Joel Valdez is a deputy press secretary, former Matt Gaetz employee over at the Pentagon. And after one of my tweets where I said, yes, encouraging people to leak is literally the job, he says, quote, we are only enacting good policy here at the Pentagon, which I replied, here is the irony any real journalist knows. And Ryan, you're 10 times more real than I am. And it's 99.9% of the time, the people who reach out to you because they have an axe to grind. In fact, much of the time it is calm flax. Flack, by the way, is a Washington term for people like Joel, who are press assistants who don't actually know anything, who are the most desperate to leak on background. Those are the people. The junior press staffer is about 95% the person who's on the other end of the phone. Be like, let me offer you some stuff, context, right? Some background for your use, so just to be able, so that for your ability to report. These are the phone calls, the types of things that we get. And I encourage Joel to come out and sign a sworn affidavit that you have never leaked information before. And I also want you to say that your former boss, Matt Gaetz, has also never leaked information before. And that he is, in fact, not one of those people who has every reporter in this town on speed dial.
And in fact, I'd like him to sign an affidavit that he hasn't leaked about this story.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I guarantee you he's leaking about this specific story.
Joel, I will pay you $1,000 if you can sign a sworn affidavit saying that you've never leaked information. Not just classified, any information previously in your job, including in your current role. $1,000, 1,000 US dollars. I'd be willing to bet that
They can
that's
go to, if he can't take the money, a charity of his choice.
Sure, charity of your
Maybe
choice.
Friends of the IDF.
Charity of your choice,
Yeah.
okay? Charity of your choice.
There are a lot of different charities.
We will take the YouTube revenue from this video and we will use it to a charity. Yeah, Friends of the IDF.
The Friends of the IDF.
All you have to do is sign a sworn affidavit. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay. I don't know. Anything else to say on this, Ryan? It's
No, I'm glad you and Emily are both punching back, and the rest of the conservative press. Like that's what has to happen.
Because this was the wet dream of Obama. They wanted to do it. They tried to throw Fox out of the White House press corps.
Yep.
Under Obama, like I just told you, I got dressed down for questioning some of the bullshit that they were reporting out about ISIS at the time. They hated us, at the Pentagon. But they didn't bat us at the end of the day. And our ability to sit there, I would argue, and actually press them a little bit, which is frankly one of the best parts of that job, is in many cases, you get to just question generals, which almost never happens because they'll stream in live from Baghdad. All you have to do is just show up to the room and you can just ask them, like I'm talking to you right now. There's a microphone right above my head. Let's say you're coming in like via a Zoom call and you can sit there and lob questions at these people. And most of the time they would not try to censor you. Now, in some cases like the Secretary of Defense or any of that, but it actually used to be one of the more open environments where at the very least on camera, you could question some people in power. Now, keep in mind, Pete Hegseth, secretary, has not done a press conference in 4 months over at the Pentagon. And the only time they do is when after it's the Iran strike or something like that. So it's not like we're losing a ton, but it's a horrible precedent. And it is genuinely one which I think it's the most scary because the Pentagon, that is where all the real shit happens, right? The $1 trillion, the strikes, the most nefarious parts of the federal budget, UFOs. Like the more that they try to make it so that it's all stenography, we are so much worse off. So good thing technology exists. And if you have classified information, send it over. We'd love to see it. And we will publish it.
Last point I'd make is that transparency is a sign of strength.
Yeah, I agree.
And this tin pot stuff is a sign of weakness.
I totally agree with you. I actually, and the irony is as of this morning, there are 3 stories out now about Pete Hegseth sidelining lawyers about Venezuela, Pete Hegseth's personal lawyer being part of this whole new media restriction, and about how that lawyer has some previous ties to Epstein, and about how this paranoia is part of the reason why he's being sidelined by the White House. People are still going to leak. In fact, they're probably going to leak more.
Yeah.
So by the way, if that's you, send it over.
You got our signal.
Right here, you have us. Reach out to us both. We'll happily publish it. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.